What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm here to talk about all the fights to make after UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. I know I lost half my fan base. You guys just couldn't take it after Volkanovski lost. I'm with you, brother. But listen, all jokes aside, man, very depressing outcome to the end of the card, but great fights. A lot of promising futures kind of built by what happened. So I'm going to jump straight into every fight that I really care about seeing after that card. Let's start off straight away. Obviously, Zhang Mingyang was supposed to fight Alex Pereira in the main event of 300, but he got replaced by Jamahal Hill. I understand that. So I want to give Chinese Pereira, Russian Anthony Smith. I think this is the next big fight to make at light heavyweight. Both of these guys coming off insanely exciting knockouts, dude. And like I said, bro, you got the rivalry of Smith versus Pereira. You've got the foreign version of Smith versus the Chinese version of Alex Pereira. So I feel like this is a banger matchup. This could be like the featured fight of a fucking fight night in the Apex. Maybe put this on a Zhang Wei Li card at some point. I think this is a good matchup to make in the light heavyweight division. Let me move on, all right? Let me keep cooking, all right, you guys? Let me start off and say this, bro. Danny Barlow, very good prospect, bro. Very excited with how he performed in that fight. And I want to see him move on to a pretty decent test next up. I want to see Danny Barlow versus Charles Radke, bro. This is a badass fight, dude. I feel like Dana White right now trying to sell you this. But tell me this wouldn't be a good fight. Radke's an exciting fighter. Obviously, if he wins, we're going to hear something crazy on the fucking microphone. And, I want to see the power of Barlow versus the power of Radke. I think this is a really logical next step. Both of these guys coming off very good knockout wins, so you can kind of make this whenever you want, at whatever card you need it on. I think this is a pretty smart next step for both of these guys. Let me move on very swiftly here to, I believe, the middleweight division. That's right. So Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov took place. I told you to pick Anthony Hernandez, dude. Did I not? Listen, man, I tried to fucking tell... Yes, I tried to tell you to pick the Mexican Covington. That's an oxymoron. Anthony Hernandez. Bro is literally Colby Covington 2.0, dude. But he beat Roman Kopylov. I know it was short notice, but I think we're going to send Kopylov back a little bit. But he's still near the rankings. So I'm not going to say, you know what, fight fucking... I don't know, some bum at middleweight, right? I want him to take on a big test, and I think an exciting matchup to prove who can move on into the rankings and who can maybe go down and fight the Abus Magomedovs and the unranked kind of sections of the middleweight division. The winner of this can move on to a top 15 opponent. The loser can move on to like an Abus Magomedov or somebody outside the rankings pretty low, in my opinion. I want to see Roman Kopylov versus Ikram Aliskerov. And again, I think I said this a couple of videos ago. Why the fuck are we talking about Ikram Aliskerov fighting a ranked opponent? He beat Wally Alves, dude. It's not that impressive, dude. It's fucking Wally Alves. So, the commentary getting on the mic talking about, somebody get this man a top 15 opponent. I think the winner of this can be conclusively, okay, maybe you do deserve a ranked opponent. And the loser, let's chill on that shit of both of these guys, talking about them going, oh my god, these guys are going to be top 5 contenders. These guys are going to be future champions. I think this is a good way to separate who's who at middleweight between two of the prospects that get glazed the most, like a Krispy Kreme donut. Trust. All right, so that's my pick for middleweight. I want to see Kopylov versus Aliskerov, and obviously the winner of that matchup, Anthony Hernandez, he's going to need a big fight next as well. And I was thinking like maybe Roman Dolidze, but I don't know, he got beat up pretty badly and that's a big jump. I was thinking maybe Paul Craig, but he's booked up. Honestly speaking, I think Chris Curtis, Anthony Hernandez rebook that fight. This is a pretty solid matchup. I believe number 13 versus number 13 versus number 14 at middleweight. Anthony Hernandez, I think he wins this one pretty easily, but it is a good test because the takedown defense of Chris Curtis is probably his best trait alongside his boxing. We did see Hernandez get touched up a little bit. Pause. Calm down, Dana White. It's not what I'm talking about. We did see him get touched up a little bit by Kopylov. My roof is fucking shaking. What the fuck, dude? Why is my roof shaking? It's not that exciting of a matchup. It's number 13 versus number 14, but I digress. I'm going to just move on, dude. So I think this is a pretty fair matchup to make at middleweight. Honestly speaking, like I said, I think Anthony Hernandez wins this pretty easily, but it is a solid test without being too much of a jump. So that's my pick. All right, dude. let me move on to the Bantamweight division. The Chad Merab sent Henry Cejudo back to bed, picked him up, said, here you go, son. Time to go to sleep, little guy. Slammed him down in front of Zuckerberg, best cornerman in MMA history. And Merab, honestly, like I said in yesterday's video, dude, I think his next fight should definitely be Umar Nurmagomedov just to prove he's actually worthy of being ranked. But if he can't get the Umar fight, give him a fucking title shot. Okay, fine. I will give Merab a fucking title shot against O'Malley, dude. I don't think this is going to happen, though. I'm going to be honest. I think this should be next for him, but I have a weird feeling it's not going to be next because Dana White really does not like Merab, dude. He's not happy that he turned down fighting Aljo. He's not happy that he said he's never going to fight Aljo for the belt. And I could honestly see a world where O'Malley beats Chito Vera and then gets a fight against Ilia Topuria at featherweight. And we'll talk about that soon as well, what's next for Ilia. But I can honestly see Merab getting ducked for as long as possible. And then when O'Malley comes back, they go, you know what, we want to do Sandhagen versus O'Malley. This is a fight that the fans want to see. I can see Merab getting ducked pretty badly. But if we live in a fair world, which we don't because Volkanovski got fucking flatlined, it should be Merab versus O'Malley next, all right, dude? Up next, I want to talk about the fight between Ian Garry and Jeff Neal. Like I said, pretty boring matchup, to be honest. Not really impressed by Ian Garry's performance, dude. And obviously Jeff Neal had his moments, but again, another kind of Jeff Neal moment where you get excited, you go, oh my god, Jeff Neal, bro, like he's gonna fucking do it. And he just lets you down, man. So with that being said, maybe controversially, Ian Garry called out Colby Covington. I don't think you deserve that fight, dude. I've thought about this. You don't deserve the Colby Covington matchup. That's a big name. That's a former title challenger. You barely beat Jeff Neal. I don't think he deserves that fight. So I want to do Ian Garry versus Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady is a similar test to Colby Covington. Like, you're barely beating Jeff Neal and you're getting on the mic. I'm going to fucking retire Colby Covington. Bro, no, you're not a fucking star. You fumbled your entire fucking hype train. And for that reason, this is what you get. You get what you get, and what you get is fucking Sean Brady, co-main event of a fight night, dude. Like, co-main event fight night Nashville, dude. That's what you get, bro. Ian Garry versus Sean Brady. I love how at the fucking pre-fight press conference, he was like, I'm going to be too big of a star to be a fucking headliner in Dublin. Mate, you've accomplished your dream perfectly. You are no longer a star. You can headline UFC Fight Night Dublin against Sean Brady, and we'll put Shana Bannon versus Molly McCann in the co-main, buddy. Have fun. Get ready to learn fucking, Dublinese, bro, because that's where you're going, man. Sean Brady, Ian Garry, that's next up. What a terrible fight that was. As for Jeff Neal, thought about some options. I feel like the winner of MVP versus Kevin Holland is probably logical for Jeff Neal. He didn't really take too much damage. That was a very boring fight. So depending on the outcome of that fight, it may be a KO. We could see MVP versus Jeff Neal very, very soon. Even if Kevin Holland wins, I think it'll probably be by a brutal KO. So you either get Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland 2, not in the UFC, but they already fought once before, or you get MVP versus Jeff Neal. Very, very exciting matchups either way. Makes a lot of sense. I don't really need to explain that shit, dude. And there is 3 fights left that I want to make from the co-main event. Like I said yesterday, dude, I was impressed with Paulo Costa. I was almost more impressed with Costa than I was with Whitaker. Whitaker kind of did his thing. He won the fight, he looked good, but I think Paulo Costa had way more moments where I went, wow, that looked really good. Wow, I'm actually excited for him to keep fighting. And I do think he's back. He seems very, into the game again. And I think the injury really fucked with his reputation. I'm glad he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit. And honestly, the best move for the UFC right now as he stands, rebook the fight with Chimaev, dude. Saudi Arabia, June, perfect timeline. Do Chimaev versus Costa as the main event of a huge fight night. Put some great fights on that card. I guarantee you that will be a huge deal, dude. I think that would be a great fight. And honestly, after that performance, you have more people now willing to be like, you know what? Maybe Costa beats Chimaev. Like, if Chimaev eats that spinning Edson Barboza heel kick from fucking Chad Paulo Costa, he might be snoozing, dude. He might be napping in the fucking cage, dude. So I think Chimaev versus Costa is a pretty logical next step. Most people are going to say this is the fight to make next. I agree with them, dude. Saudi Arabia main event. Let's fucking do it. As for Robert Whitaker, Sean Strickland's the fight. Here's the fucking thing about Robert Whitaker, you guys, right, dude? This guy's a little fucking soy boy, dude. This guy's getting fucking knocked out with fucking jabs by Dricus, dude. I think Sean versus Robert Whitaker is obviously what you do next, and they're probably going to do Izzy versus Dricus at UFC 302 some point soon. It seems like that's the fight they're going to make, dude. So just make fucking Robert Whitaker versus Sean Strickland, dude. And if they're going to Sydney, I think they said they're going to Sydney at some point this year. Maybe, dude, this is the main event. That'd be a pretty solid fight night main event because you don't have Volk as the champ anymore. You know, you don't really have anybody else to headline that card. Maybe JDM, but he doesn't really have the personality. I think Strickland Whitaker could headline a fight night in Australia. Put Justin Tafa versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima on that fight card as well. I think that's probably what you do next with both of these guys. And that's a pretty entertaining fight, dude. I think Strickland wins that shit. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below, but there's one fight left to talk about. What is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, as for Volkanovski, I've seen some pretty cool ideas. Obviously, people are saying give him the immediate rematch. I think when he comes back, he should fight for the belt, but I don't think the next fight for the belt should be Volkanovski, just like Guru said in his video, right? But if Volkanovski doesn't get the rematch, like the UFC moves on too quickly, they want to do O'Malley versus Topuria. I think Volk versus Aljo is a good fight. I think that's a pretty low danger fight for him. He could win that. Even Volk versus Arnold Allen, I'd be fucking happy with that, you know? But as for Ilia Topuria, do Topuria versus Evloev soon, bro. Soon, dude. Do Topuria versus Evloev in like June, maybe March, honestly. Like not March, Jesus Christ, it's fucking February. Maybe April, June. Evloev Topuria could be a good co-main event to like a big pay-per-view main event. Maybe, you know, you figure something out with Izzy and Dricus and you put this as the co-main. I think that'd be a big fight because I don't know how well Topuria versus Evloev sells by itself. Maybe if it's in Spain, maybe if it's an international pay-per-view, it does better. But even if you can't make that happen, this as the co-main event to a stacked pay-per-view would be insane. And I think the matchup is probably what is most exciting next for Topuria, considering Holloway's at fucking 55 and Volkanovski's on the shelf and there's nobody really else that deserves the title shot. I think Yair or Ortega, there's not enough promise to those matchups where you go, could they beat Topuria? I think Ortega gets chinned by Topuria and I think Yair Rodriguez gets taken down and melted. Whereas Movsar Evloev, he's undefeated as well. So somebody's O's got to go, in the words of somebody's O has got to go. I think it's the most intriguing matchup you can make. So let me know what you guys think down below. These are the fights to make after UFC 298. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, boys. Who do you think wins these fights that I made? And if you're enjoying the videos at the moment, drop a like, subscribe if you're not already, and go follow me on Instagram at BedtimeMMA. See you in the next video, boys. Goodbye.